going back to your point, I think educating people makes sense to that they can do their own basic demo so that you don't have to hire these expensive pre-sales guys, right?
Yeah.
They are expensive. But I have a question regarding the trend on the technical side because you mentioned that that's the shift. You think this is because of the expectation that we hire more of the specialists these days, of people who really can do work instead of just talk and be this thoughtful leader? Or you think this is the ripple effect of the AI that is enabling them to do this?
Yeah, probably a little bit of both. I mean, I just think, even as a BDR making an outbound call, you really want to be able to spin a little bit around the product because ultimately, the more you understand the product and how it works technically, the more value, right, you could add in that call from a sales perspective to see if it
Mhm.
truly aligns with what the customer is looking for. So I do think versus just reading off a script, hi, this is Jamal from Palo Alto Networks. It's like, this is Jamal from Palo Alto Networks, cybersecurity, looking at what you guys do in terms of your work. Here's how our particular product, right, technically fits into that. So being a little bit more thoughtful in how we make that
Mhm.
initial call, because time's is precious right now, right? No one wants to spend extra time. So I think the better you are from that technical component, right, where you can kind of speak to it at a high level. Don't say you have to get into deep. It does. It helps to kind of speed things up.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. And I don't think it's necessarily like, oh, you need to have studied computer science to be a great VP of sales. But I have seen that a lot of the products are inherently becoming increasingly more technical. They're used by technical people. And I think just in terms of being able to talk that talk and be able to understand what exactly the product does, I mean, these are solutions where if you're at your Thanksgiving dinner trying to explain it to family and friends, a lot of people aren't going to have any clue what it is that that solution's doing, and really being able to distill it quickly and succinctly to the proper audience, I think is massive. So I think a little bit of it is just having the intellectual curiosity to not only understand your product, but the space and what the solution is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I can see this. Like, you don't want to talk about these things at the table with your family during the holiday season. You know, they can choke. Listen to you. That's a hazard.
But here's what I will say though, one last point to that. So as much as
Yeah.
there's the technology drive, right? As much as there's AI, there's still the human element that we can't get rid of, right? I think ultimately, and this is where when I think about recruiters and some of the conversations we have, it's like, are we going to get pushed out? And I'm like, I don't think we'll ever get pushed out. I do think there will be things that help to augment what we do, but I don't think we will. There's because I still need to negotiate the contract with you or your salary or get feedback. I think as much as certain things can be automated at some point, right, you're going to have to still have a human element. If you're doing a seven-figure sale, you're not going to do that through AI. You need people that are sitting across from each other at the table, right, talking and hooking out a pen and signing the doc. So I just think there's certain things that won't change as much as technology's there. I think there will be roles that probably get impacted to some degree, but I do think, ultimately there's the human element's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's a change though in this approach. So let me compare this to old way of supply chain to your groceries, right?
Uh-huh.
Or anything you're buying today from Amazon. You were buying in the past, going to the grocery or like big shopping mall, right? You're driving, you're just putting things in your cart, and then you bring this back home. These days, the things are done differently, right? Not only you have a big trucks that are just allocating that because of the planes delivered this between the big cities on a 24 hours schedule, right? And then you still have a last mile delivery. There's somebody that is driving this to your home. And I think this is going to be a similar with the sales. I think the buyers will do a lot of their own research because the AI will enable them to do this. The more AI personalization is approaching and is getting into our lives, that will be easier than it was before.
Mhm.
So I agree that at some point the seller has to come in and you want to have that human touch. You want to talk through the things. You want to get some validation. But I don't think it's going to be in this early stage of outreach at the scale that we were operating before, right?
Sure.
I don't think this is going back, by the way.
Well, we're
Yeah.
all educated consumers now, right? I mean,
Right.
even for me, if I go to the doctor now, I'm going in saying, "Hey, I have a more intelligent and informed conversation now because I've done
Right.
the research ahead of time." So buyers, I mean, I've read blog posts where sellers are like, "Oh my God, it's so much harder to sell now." Well, yeah, because the buyer knows what they want. They know the competition, they understand it. So by the time they're talking to you, it's like, show me what the true differentiator is. I got to hear it, read it, right, from the videos and things, but now really talk to me as to why I should go with your product versus this one. So to your point, yeah, things are changing now because we're a lot more intelligent because of the resources that are available to us for sure.